Good morning and welcome to today's mediation. My name is Maria Pancho and I will be your mediator for today. You may address me as Maria, and unless you have any issues, I will address you as Robbyn and Stephen. I would ask that you check that your mobile phones are turned off. Okay, I'll start with just a short background on what mediation is about. Mediation is not a legal process. The parties make the decision. There is no right or wrong. As a mediator, I am neutral. I do not take sides or tell people what to do. I am non-judgmental and I do not offer any solutions or advice. The discussions here today between the parties are confidential. As a mediator, I will not reveal any details to outside parties. Part of my role is to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to have their say. Robbyn, are you attending the mediation voluntarily?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Stephen, are you attending the mediation voluntarily?
Yes.
Good. I will now outline the process to be followed today. Robbyn will give an outline, the reasons why she has come to mediation today, and then Stephen will have the opportunity to do the same. Please do not interrupt the other person when they're speaking and keep the discussions constructive. I ask that you do not say derogatory things to each other and not to raise your voices or get personal, as this is counterproductive to the process today. Do you have any questions both of you would like to ask at this point?
No.
Excellent. You are free to ask questions about the process at any time, okay? Now, Robbyn, I will start with a statement from you. Please keep your comments brief at this stage and ask that you only mention the major issues that have brought you to mediation today. Please address these comments to myself. I ask Stephen that you don't interrupt and you may keep notes of your concerns, which will be addressed later. Is that all good with you two?
Yep.
Excellent. So, Robbyn, please proceed with your statement.
Rightio. My name is Robbyn G. I'm here because I'm sick of the whinging and complaining of the Malones next door and all the petty things they get up to. They just really annoy us. We bought the block next door about 3 years ago. There was an old house on it. It's virtually derelict, so, we decided we'd knock it down and build a new house. We put in a tennis court and pool, as you do when you're building a new house on a block. That's caused some problems. There's some issues with the drainage. Anytime there's rain, it runs from our property straight into the Malone's backyard. We acknowledge that. We spent a fortune having it repaired after they whinge constantly about it. So we've just given up now. We've spent a lot of money trying to fix it. They haven't stopped complaining, about everything we do. Have a party, the trees, our kids, the lights from the court, from the tennis court, everything. They just complain. I mean, they're getting a street petition against us. And, our lights are perfectly legal. It's a tennis court. It's at night time, We're considerate of them, So basically we're here because, I'm here because I've had enough of the complaints. They yell at our children and, I've just taken to yelling back. I'm so frustrated with them. They dump leaves into our yard. They have an incinerator and they light the incinerator when we have friends over playing tennis and stuff and, just to annoy us. And so basically I reported them to the council and, now they complain about the noise and then they call the police, Can you believe it? I just want them to mind their own business, leave us alone, stop turning the neighbours against us, especially the young ones. We get along with them really well. I just want them to leave us alone.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
All right. Thanks for your statement, Robbyn. Now, Stephen, I'd like to ask you for your version of the statement as well, please.
Yep. My name's Stephen. I couldn't believe it when your service contacted me. and said she wanted to have our problems mediated. We're the ones with the problem, not her. All that nonsense she's going on with. It's all the fault of that damn tennis court of theirs. She says they moved the derelict house. Rubbish. It was a lovely old home, in keeping with the area. It's not.
It was derelict. Get it right.
An ostentatious place where they built now. And it's a shame that the character of the place is changing. These new trendy young things with their BMW and tennis courts, they think they can have everything on their own way, just because they've got plenty of money. With all they're doing around here, our rates keep going up. They'll finish up forcing all the older people out of the area. Now, this tennis court of theirs, they built it without consulting us. And the next thing we knew, our land was being flooded, non-stop. Thelma and I should take such pride in our garden. It was heartbreaking to see what was happening to it. As for the lights, you can imagine what life is like for us. Guppies playing tennis half the night. The lights and noise stop us getting the sleep we need. We're not as young as we used to be, and we need a good night's sleep. As for the children, they're uncontrollable rabble. Poor brats. The names they've called Thelma and I. Although their way their mother goes on, sometimes I'm not surprised. They ring our bell and run away. They throw stones on our roof. And one day they ran into our dog, poor old Flossie, deliberately. She said it was an accident, but I know better. We had Flossie checked out with the vet for internal injuries. Sure, we've done some leaves in the yard. Ask her whose trees the leaves have all come from. We used to burn them off, not as she said, when they had people over, but on a Sunday afternoon, when Thelma and I would always work in the garden. They reported us and we were fined $100. That's nothing to them, but we don't have a lot more than the pension to live on. And it's terrible for us. Anyway, we'll show them they're not the ones with all the power. The neighbours will petition to have the lights removed, and we'll all continue to call the police whenever they become noisy.
All right, excellent. Thanks for your statement, Stephen, and thank you both for your cooperation. I'm just going to relay a summary of both of your statements, just to make sure I've noted it down accurately. Just beginning with Robbyn's statement. Robbyn, you said that you currently are the neighbour of Stephen. Before you moved into the neighbourhood, about 3 years ago, you purchased the block where your current house sits and knocked down the old house to rebuild a new one. You added a tennis court and pool to the backyard of this property. The drainage system from your property has caused a problem in regards to the runoff and goes straight into Stephen's backyard, particularly when it rains. You also said you've tried to rectify this issue by having the drainage system repaired. And due to the runoff circumstance, various other issues have arisen, including complaints about parties, your children, the lights, etc. These issues have resulted in a street petition and a complaint made to the police about the noise level. There has been some vocal expression between yourself and Stephen. He has retaliated by dumping leaves into your yard. You have taken matters into your own hands, whereby you reported the council in regards to an incinerator being used by Stephen in his yard whilst you had guests over. Is this summary of your statement correct, Robbyn?
Yes. No.
Thank you. Okay, Stephen's summary of your statement, just to make sure that I've noted it down accurately. Stephen, currently you are the neighbour of Robbyn.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. You have lived in the neighbourhood for over 30 years. You also believe that the knockdown house next door was not derelict but a lovely old home. You also stated that you believe the new people moving into the neighbourhood are driving up the price of rates and forcing the older people out of the area. You also mentioned the installation of the tennis court and pool in Robbyn's backyard leads to a build-up of water which floods your garden, which is your pride and joy. Robbyn did not consult with you when she built the tennis court. Also, the drainage system from Robbyn's property has caused a problem in regards to runoff and goes straight into your backyard, particularly when it rains. He also mentioned that Robbyn plays tennis half the night and lights and noise stop affecting your sleep. Due to the runoff circumstance, various other issues have arisen, including actually, no, sorry. Forgive me that. It's wrong. There has been some vocal expression between yourself and Robbyn. The children call you names and ring your doorbell and then run away. They throw stones onto the roof near your room. And one day I ran into your dog, which needed to go to the vet to be checked. You say you only burnt the leaves off on a Sunday afternoon and the leaves are coming from the trees on Robbyn's place and are not happy about the fine of $100 from the council, especially as on the pension. You are due to being reported, and you also mentioned you petitioned to have the lights removed and call the police when it's too noisy. Is that summary of yours correct, Stephen?
Yep.
Excellent. All right, I'm just going to follow through with identifying the main issues on each of your statements, Robbyn and Stephen. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Excellent. So the main issues on Robbyn's statements are the runoff from the drainage system, the tennis court due to the lights and noise level, and children due to the noise level. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep.
And then Stephen, yours is pretty much the same. The runoff from the drainage system, the tennis court due to the lights and noise level, and the children noise level and their behaviour towards yourself and your wife.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. So I guess now we'll just go and address further these issues. You may direct comments to each other and not to myself specifically as mediator. I will assist both parties to address one issue at a time. All right. So we'll go through the first issue, just the runoff from the drainage system. How, I guess, Robbyn, for yourself, how did you feel with repairing it at first and then finding out that, the repair hadn't helped the second time around?
Yeah, we didn't realise we had to ask the neighbour if we could put up a tennis court. And when the drainage become an issue, we've done something about it. We spent money just because we not on the pension doesn't mean we have lots of money either, or yuppies, as you say. We've tried to fix it, and we've tried to fix the problem up, but I don't see how it's our issue because we have tried to fix it, and it's Stephen that's saying, obviously the water runs away, but hey, did it do that before? I don't know. We've put the tennis court in. The council never gave us any issues with putting the tennis court in and saying anything about drainage. Like they allowed the tennis court and what we were doing. So, I don't understand what Stephen whinges about. I've spent it. I've spent money. I've fixed it. We've got people in.
But it's not fixed.
But I've spent...
Well, I guess now, Stephen, do you want to explain to Robbyn, I guess, your main issues with the runoff from the drainage? I mean, how do you see it in your perspective?
Well, floods the yard, floods all the gardens. Makes them all boggy. You can't mow it. You can't do anything with it there. Like a swamp.
But then how is that my issue when I've done what the council's told me to do? I've done exactly what they've told me to do, so it's done. I've fixed the drainage.
That's your issue. It comes off your tennis court.
Yes, but I put the tennis court in. I got council permission to put the tennis court in, and they gave me approval that it was all fine to put that in. I did everything they told me to do. So if it was a drainage issue, surely the council wouldn't have let me put my tennis court in there like that.
Well, I don't know, but all I know is it runs all over my yard when we get rain. It floods the whole place. Never did
Or maybe
that
something on
before.
your place.
Never did that
Maybe it
before.
was a natural water course in the first place.
No, I don't think so. Never did it before you moved in.
Well, I've got experts in. We've tried to fix it because you complain and you complain and you complain. So we've got experts in and we've tried to fix it and we've spent lots of money and they're saying there's not an issue.
Well, there must be still an
I don't know
issue.
what the drainage issue. I can see there's probably water going into your house, but that might be into your property, but that might be because we have massive rainfall, downpours. Where does the water go anyway?
Yeah, but it didn't do that before.
Well, I've gone into the property and I've done it.
30 years, and I never had this problem before.
Well, your neighbour before didn't have a tennis court, did they? I've now put a tennis court in.
Yeah, well, maybe it might be the tennis court's fault, eh?
Fine. I will get another expert in and I'll get them to talk to you.
Who owns the tennis court?
We own the tennis court.
Well, that's got to be your problem, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's no drainage issues on my property.
Okay, sorry, I've got to interrupt both of you. Now, you guys speak about, I guess, Robbyn in particular, bringing in a professional to have a look at, the drainage system again, and I guess both of your properties again. Would you be happy that for like a future sort of arrangement between the both of you?
As long as we've got some action there, as long as we've got some that are going to be fixed and I ain't going to be flooded.
Okay. I'm happy to get another
Otherwise,
expert in.
I'll have to go to court about it.
I'm happy to get another expert in, and I'm happy to get them to talk to Stephen and discuss the issue. But if it doesn't fix it and it continues on, I don't know how to fix it. I mean, it's just so I can get heaps of experts in, but I'm happy to get an expert in and talk to Stephen, see what his issues are and see what they come up with.
Okay, excellent. All right, we'll just continue on with the next main issue from both of you. Now, Stephen in particular, this one affects you. The lights due to the tennis court and the noise level resulting in, obviously, the participation of games through the tennis court as well. What was your, I guess, how do you feel about all the noise level and that affecting your sleep? Can you explain that to Robbyn?
Well, we were playing tennis till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's more than me, but everyone wants to get some sleep at that time of night.
And Robbyn, what's your point of view on the lights and the noise level?
Okay, well, we don't play tennis till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, we've got jobs, we have to go to bed and we have to sleep. So I don't know how he thinks we're out till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We have children. So, we're not playing tennis till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We might have a party and you go out and hit a game of tennis. I didn't realise it was such an issue to do that. And the noise, well, that's just playing tennis, Watch television, watch the tennis players grunt. I mean, obviously, tennis, people make noises. So, I guess that, I didn't realise the noise. Maybe the noise on a still night, the noise radiates through the night or carries through the night. I don't know, but I'm definitely not out there till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm definitely not out there having yoo-hoo parties and making lots of noise. I don't know. Maybe they should wear earplugs.
Okay. So I guess in order to dissolve this tension between you due to like the tennis court with the lights and the noise level, what do you guys believe that you can come to, into the middle or an arrangement with in regards to, the usage of the lights and, it affecting, your neighbour and everything? Like, would you be able to, I guess, arrange some sort of schedule or some, you know, consideration of time between yourselves? What do you think about that? Sorry, Stephen, what did you say?
Unplug the lights.
Well, how can you play tennis at night without lights? How are you expected to see? I mean, I'm happy to go and tell Stephen when we're having a party and we're going to go and play tennis. And so he's aware of the lights. I'm happy to get someone to look at the lights at night to see whether they radiate somehow into Stephen's house. But, I mean, we're not playing till 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. That's not right. But I'm happy, you know, to come to some agreement where, you know, maybe we don't play past 10 o'clock at night or something, or we will tell him we're playing tennis that night and he can take his wife on a romantic weekend or something that weekend or something. I mean, you know, they're married 30 years. You've got to put some spark back in there, but I don't know, but I'm happy to I'll work with Stephen on it, but I don't see what the big issue is.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to the last of your main issues. Now, the children, your children, Robbyn, the noise level and their behaviour towards Stephen and his wife. How do you feel about that statement?
Well, I don't understand what Stephen's going on about. Like, obviously, maybe he's old and cranky and he doesn't like kids or something, and so he's just got to have something to whinge about. But, you know, obviously, my kids are good. I don't see what he's saying, but I'm happy to have a talk to them and explain to them if, you know, why they don't go over the neighbour's yard or why they don't do anything, even though I do not concede that they threw rocks on his roof or whatever they did or ring his doorbell, but I'm happy to talk to them about, you know, their behaviour and what's good behaviour to your neighbour, you know, to see if that helps. But kids are kids. I mean, it could be any kids. There's other kids in the street. It doesn't mean it's my children. It doesn't mean it's my kids are doing. But, you know, he can have his whinge. I'll speak to them, but, you know, that's the best I can do on that one, because I have no, where's the proof that they're my children? Where's the proof my children are doing it?
Okay. Stephen, can you expand on the statement about the noise level and the behaviour towards yourself and your wife from the kids?
Oh, they're the ferals. Honestly, the language they use, it's not believable. Someone with such age. Never heard language like that all my life. Little grubby thing they are too.
So what do you build, I guess from both of you, what would you be able to, I guess, arrange between the both of you in regards to the children?
Well, I'm very offended that my kids are grubby. That's quite offensive to say about
every now and again.
But, you know, I'm happy to talk to them. I will talk to them. But, I mean, he has no proof they're my children that are doing that. But I will talk to them about it. And if they know who's doing it or something like that, and so they're aware of what it's all about, and I'll talk to them about it. But, you know, I do not, as I said, I do not conceive my kids are doing it. There's plenty of kids in the street. I mean, he's old. He might have his glasses on to be able to see which kid it is in the first place.
All right. Thank you, both of you, for discussing those issues with each other. We'll move on to the next step of our mediation. We'll move into private sessions now. I'll be seeing Stephen first. These sessions are confidential, brief, and they are an opportunity to check how this mediation session is going for yourself at the moment. Okay, so I'll just escort Robbyn to a private room where you can take some time to gather your thoughts and have a rest break. Okay, Robbyn?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, thanks for joining me in this private session, Stephen.
Yep. Well,
Now, No worries. Now, the session is confidential. Nothing that is told to myself as the mediator during this private session may be divulged by myself afterwards. It is both the responsibility of yourself and Robbyn to raise later anything that is discussed in private sessions if you choose to. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. So how do you feel about the session so far, Stephen?
Oh, a little bit all right, I suppose. Getting a little bit there.
Yeah?
But there's still a long ways to go.
Can imagine. Now, how do you, I guess, what can you see, in long terms regarding, each of the issues that we covered today, in particular the drainage system, tennis court, lights, the noise level from the children?
Well, if you can address all the problems, it'll be all right.
Yeah. What would you do? I guess if you couldn't come to an agreement today, what does that leave you? What sort of position does that leave you in?
Well, I don't know. I might have to take legal action.
Okay. Well, what would you most want out of this mediation session today?
Just to get on with my neighbours.
Yeah.
They've been flooded out, all the kids running wild.
Okay. When you say get along with your neighbours, so do you mean just to cancel out the animosity between yourself and Robbyn?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you believe has to happen before, you can cancel out that animosity?
Well, she'll have to stop the flooding and turn the lights off at a reasonable hour and go after kids a bit better, I think.
Okay. How do you think Robbyn would respond to that?
I don't know.
Okay, no worries. Did you want to bring up anything else in this private session?
No, that's all.
Okay. So we'll just end this private session now. Again, I'll remind you that both yourself and Robbyn need to remain confidential, and that, if you need to, you'll need to raise any issues discussed. And yeah, thank you for your patience at this stage.
Right. Thank you.
All right. How are you feeling now, Robbyn?
Yeah, I've calmed down a little bit. He got me a bit wild there with going on about my children. As any mum, I'm very protective of my children.
Okay. So as I stated before, this is going to be a private session. So, anything discussed now won't be discussed by myself outside of this room. It'll remain confidential at this point. Just bear with me for a moment. Excellent. All right. So how do you feel about the mediation session today?
It's all right. It's I'm a bit frustrated with it, but look, I wanted to go to mediation. I've suggested mediation because I don't want this long protracted court battle, dragging this through the courts and stuff. I mean, I'm hoping I want to have a good relationship with my neighbour. I don't want to have bad relationships with my neighbour or any neighbours. So, I'm keen to try to come up with some agreement. I realise that, I'm not going to probably get all I want. I come in here with those ideas, but, obviously sitting here and thinking about it, you know, it's not like I'm going to get everything I want, and I'm willing to concede some things. The kids upset me, but, you know, I wanted to come to mediation and I want to try to sort it out. So I don't want to be putting money after money after money. So, you know, I'm happy to keep trying and see how we go. But at least we've sat down and have a talk, which is more than we normally do because we just yell at each other.
Yeah. So considering you, I guess, talking it out with Stephen, how do you think he would respond to both of you sitting down together and, I guess, making an arrangement or negotiating on what you can do with the issues that you've both
Well, you know, we talked about some issues and I'm willing to work with him. I realise that, you know, it's wearing me down, and the yelling and the stuff like that. It's just all, you know, getting too much. My dream home, my dream life is just great when I'm not home, but when I get home, all I worry about is next door and, you know, the incinerator, the whinging, you know, this petition now in the street. I mean, where does it end? So, you know, that's why we've come to mediation. So, look, you know, I'm willing to try really many things at this stage to try to, you know, improve home. I love my house and I don't want to leave.
Okay. All right. We're going to have to end this session, Robbyn, for now. I'm just going to remind you that it will remain confidential and that you will have to raise any issues discussed if you wish to. And thank you for your patience. So we'll get back to seeing Stephen right now. Okay. Okay, so I'm just letting both of you know that the focus of the discussion now after the private sessions will be that both of you will pretty much discuss an arrangement that you can work towards future, what I'm trying to say is in the long run. So you'll be discussing, I guess, you know, options on what you can do to improve your relationship with each other as neighbours. So this is your chance to talk about any opportunities to propose and options regarding each item. Okay?
Well, I'm happy to get another person in, engineer, whatever, to look at the drainage. I'm happy for that person to have consultations with Stephen and discuss those issues with Stephen. So he's got, or the person I employ has got, you know, Stephen's side of the story and the issues and look from there. But, you know, obviously if it's going to end up costing me money on money, it's just, you know, impossible. But I'm willing to have another go and fix it if Stephen's willing to be part of that. In relation to the lights, look, I'm happy to tell him when I'm having a party, if that's what he'd like be, that, you know, I'm not having a party where we'll be playing tennis. You know, I'll accept that we won't play tennis past 10 o'clock. Not that we ever have. I definitely haven't been playing tennis 1, 2 o'clock this morning. I don't consider that. But, you know, I won't play tennis after 10. You know, as for the lights, I don't know the pool that it was designed like that and the lights were allowed. I don't know how they go in Stephen's house, but, you know, we can work on that if we get through issues in relation to the kids. Well, you know, I will talk to the kids, but there's other kids in the street, and Stephen got to realise that my kids aren't the only kids in the street, and unless he's got proof that it's my children, you know, I don't admit it's mine, but I will talk to them about it, and if they know of other kids or whatever, and try to discuss the issues with them.
Okay, Stephen, do you have anything to propose to Robbyn?
No, I think she's covered it all there.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry?
That sounds okay, what she covered there for a starter. And then we'll see how it progresses from there.
All right. So at this point in time, are you both happy with a verbal agreement from each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we don't want to go to court. I don't want to go to court. It's just, you know, let's just work together.
All right. Well, I'll take it that both of you have agreed with the verbal agreement between you, both of you. So that ends our mediation session today. Congratulations to both of you on your hard work. Thank you for being patient, and thank you for your cooperation. At this stage, we'll have to, I guess, if you both want, or if you both decide to do something else, we'll go, step towards another mediation session if you choose to, if that's okay with both of you. But for now, I'll just take your verbal agreement between each other and see how that works out. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your attendance.